Hello everyone, it's the Grand Strategy Nerd, and we are finally starting the next chapter in our Mega Let's Play campaign with the Sultanate of Mali. We're in EU4, and this episode 0, is just going to give us a little bit of overview of the world before we actually get into it. So it's not going to be quite as long, or it shouldn't be quite as long as a normal episode. But hopefully you'll get to understand the world as it stands and what I changed it to. Here we are on the terrain map, and this is just to basically hide stuff from you. You can kind of see what's going on. But let's get into the political realm and what was changed and what was kept. We'll just start down here in Africa, where we're all familiar with. And what we really changed here was Mauritius. Now we changed Mauritius to allow for their what is considered a vassal of Atlas. And now what happened at the end of Crusader Kings 2 is that the Micnacid dynasty actually took over Mauritius, or I should say took over large parts of Mauritius. Well, that just wouldn't work. Basically what happened in EU4 is that the Micnacid dynasty had more territory than the Sharafid dynasty. Wow. So what I did is basically reduce them to their own little emirate of Atlas and made the rest Mauritius. Egypt I left really unchanged. I took away the lower portion of the Arabian Peninsula and gave it to Oman and cleaned up a lot the Seljuks. Now you'll see that there are two here. This all used to be Seljuk, the great Sultanate of Persia, basically the Persian Empire, and this was all Persia. Well, that doesn't really translate well, because what EU4 does on the converter is that it changes each of the dynasties in a Muslim empire to their own country. Looks like I missed one all the way up here, but we're going to leave that because I don't feel like restarting it. And we missed some over here, but that's okay. Anyways, so we made the Abbasids here that were really based out of modern-day Israel, and we gave them the state of Palestine. You can see I tried to keep it right here. You see that I left some things over here, but that's okay. Just gives more flavor to the world. And then Persia really got the rest of it. We then created a buffer state, or I created a buffer state between the Persians and the Byzantines called Pamides, and this is named after the Pamine dynasty. They are Shias, right, smack in between Sunnis and Orthodox Christians. But I thought this is a nice border state. They can fight over that and continue their war between each other. Egypt is still Shia, the great Sultanate of Egypt. Mali greatly expanded. We lost our arm up here, but we kept this arm over here of Tuat and Tuadeni. And we gained, obviously, the provinces to extend us all the way out to the Atlantic. So we finally have our port, even though it took basically, well, moving to EU4 to get it. So yes, we lost Tamdult, which would be really up here, Ifni. I don't know why they don't have the same provinces on Western Africa as they do in Crusader Kings 2, but they don't. But we do have room to expand. As you can see, we are the biggest, we are the baddest down here in the West African Technology Group. As always, we have to watch out for Mauritius and Atlas. Now, one of the things I don't like, and that you'll see right here, is that we actually have a lot of forts in, you can see right here we have 7 forts in Mali, and we really only need 2. But I tried to find where the fort modifier was in the files, and I couldn't find it, so we had to leave it as is. All right, interesting things. What's happening up here on the Iberian Peninsula? As you saw, we gave the Abbasids in Seville the largest sultanate here, And then we expanded the Mataid. We got rid of the Dehunid dynasty, and we gave the Mataid dynasty basically Toledo, or as it was written here, Tula Tula. So we gave them big right in the middle. They're still Sunni and Muslim, as is Seville, Sunni and Muslim. England at the end of our playthrough did capture Galicia, so that's actually really going to help the Seville, the Sultanate of Seville, because they'll probably be able to westernize right away. And actually Tula Tula as well, because you have Aragon up here, which I expanded a little bit, and Valencia, which I expanded a lot, basically because France owned all of this. And as you see all these cool colors, France actually owned a lot. And I said that that's just not going to stick. We're not going to keep that. So we didn't. And they don't. All right, moving north of the Pyrenees into southern France, what is today southern France. We created a couple new duchies, and the first one being Toulouse, or we expanded them. Toulouse has these 3 provinces, and then Aquitaine we greatly expanded to basically go from the Atlantic or the Bay of Biscay all the way into the Gulf of Lion in the Mediterranean. We also greatly expanded the Duchy of Provence and basically kind of hemmed in France right up here. And if you do see, France is a Catholic nation along with England amidst, and Toulouse is also Catholic, amidst all of these Orthodox states. Now the reason for that is that the Holy Roman Empire is an Orthodox empire. Right now, Liege, I don't know why Liege is like bright green, because Luxembourg is the emperor right now. Luxembourg has 2 tiny little things, but apparently they had enough sway at the end of Crusader Kings 2 to be able to be elected as emperor. And we did a lot of work over here, which I'm not going to go totally into detail about, but let's just say that I cleaned up a lot of this. Bavaria still looks like crap, but that's only because I wanted it to look that way. I wanted to extend into northern Italy, because Italy is still, as you can see, it's polyglot. It's a mess down here. I kept Persia's influence over here in Carpathia, or I'm sorry, Capitanata. Kept Palestine's influence over here as well in Bari. You have the Catholic state of Sicily. And then you have another Muslim state of Turkestan down here, which actually owns Sicily. Now, Sicily is quite odd because they have... Nope. Oh, no, I changed that to Corelli. I did. Okay. Yep. So I limited Sicily down here. Sicily is basically, as you can see here, King Sven II of Schwaben. This is actually Scandinavian Sicilians. You can see a Sicilian Apulia, or Apulia. And that's because I never got rid of them. I don't think I got rid of them. Yeah. I don't know why it still says that, because there's no other Sicily right there. But that's where we located them. Papal states I expanded to include Siena and Napoli. Who do we have here? Spoleto. The Republic of Pisa is... Nope, Spoleto's a duchy. The Republic of Ancona. Duchy of Verona. Venice I gave Istria just because I didn't want Venice to just be over here. And plus, I think it makes sense that they own... I just think it makes sense. Anyways. And then Carinthia actually greatly expanded. I gave... not greatly, but I did give them Lica. Austria we can find over here. They were actually spreading out into here, but for borders I can find them right here. And then we have all these little duchies around that are all electors. Well, Holland is a duchy. The Hand is a Grand Republic, even though it's not that grand, because I only gave them 1 port. Actually 2 ports. There's another one right here. But the Hansa was all around. Just had provinces just spattered throughout the Holy Roman Empire. So I really constricted them to right here around Hessen, Nassau, Westphalen, and Kassel. But we have all these small duchies around. Basically, you can consider them duchies that are electors. And members of the Holy Roman Empire, and I think this is going to be a great balance between Catholic France and Catholic England, who, yes, I did leave these two provinces to England. And yeah, I'm just really excited to see what happens here in the Holy Roman Empire. Poland and Lithuania I had a lot of fun with because I created, or basically expanded Yatvingia, which is a buffer between the two. They're both Catholic, but I really did have, I was like, yeah, I'll just, because Yatvingia was really a couple provinces, but I decided to create a buffer between the two, even though they do meet over here, but you know what I mean. It's a buffer. Right here, this green, as you can read, can't get too close, but it is Munsterian Wielkopolska. That's because Mumu, the kingdom of Mumu, actually owned 3 provinces over here, and then I just gave him another one just for craps and cackles. So we'll see what happens over here. These provinces didn't turn over, so I created Pomors and Pomeralia. And Pomerania is over here. Up in Scandinavia, we do have Egyptian Scandinavia still. I did keep their influence up there. And the Norge are the big, the Norge are the big bad ones up here. They do have provinces both on the Atlantic and here in the Baltic Sea as well. I don't know why it's skipping around like that. I apologize. And then, of course, Denmark is there. But I really think that the Egyptians are going to have a leg up. We expanded Estonia a bit. They only had 1 province, so I gave them this whole strip of land in Suomi. And then, like I said, I created Karelia, basically incorporated the Sicilian lands up here in Kola and Anera, or Aner. Anyways, I gave them both to Karelia and expanded them. Moving over into Asia. Had a lot of fun working with this. I consider this connected, even though the game doesn't. But Russia has a lot of northern lands, but is really, I think the development is really here. And as you saw, this actually belongs to Khiva, which is a independent khanate. And right over here is where the main one is. I left it as is because I think it just adds to it. Then we have the Khaganate of Belhar. And then Mongolia itself. Mongolia is huge. And then I just did some border corrections down here in India. So that's really what we're looking at in terms of the politics here. I didn't create any new lands, any new countries over here. I was thinking about it, playing a little bit up on the fleet of one of the Malian kings in history who sent a gold fleet, west from Africa, but I decided not to. All right, diplomacy. No one has any alliances. We'll just wait for the start of the game for all that to happen. Trade. It's just showing you where all the trade nodes are. Religions. Orthodox is still fighting with Catholicism, with the HRE being part of the Orthodox religion. I think that is going to give them a leg up, but Catholicism is still pretty big. And of course, Sunnis and Shias will start fighting each other. In development, we are not doing too good. Then again, we weren't doing too good. Actually, most of the world's not doing too good. What concerns me is how greenish Mauritius and Seville are. And they're just going to get even greener with their ties with having the Western states so close. But that's what we have to deal with in our journey through Europa Universalis IV as Mali, looking out for Mauritius and Atlas, as we always have, and then expanding west and south to conquer most of Western Africa. But that's where we'll stop here. If you like what you see and want to point it out, go ahead. Please click on that thumbs up. Leave a comment below. And if this is your first time here, thank you for joining us on this. Like I said, this is just episode 0. We're actually going to get into gameplay in the next episode. But thanks for joining me. If you are new here, please click on that red subscribe button. Lets me know that I'm doing a great job and that you want to see more grand strategy from me, the Grand Strategy Nerd. Till next time, everyone, good night and good luck.